You wanted more, and we're giving you more. Welcome to Rapid Fire. Jeremy Butt Life.
All right, we got a bunch of different topics spanning sports, culture, business, all that stuff. I'm going to read off the topic, headline, and the guys are going to go round table on it for about 5 minutes. If they think I did a shitty job picking out topics, they can pass.
Yes, one pass each, Mo.
Yes.
John.
All right.
Let's go.
First one.
But life.
Victoria's Secret CEO steps down amid declining sales and backlash from transgender comments. The VP of PR recently said that the company would not have transgender or plus-size models in their fashion show because, quote, the show is a fantasy.
So, I'm going to go. Oh, I raised my hand.
Yeah.
I forgot. You forgot to say the raise your hand thing, Jeremy. Okay, so
All right.
I'll raise my hand here, and I'll take a approach that probably people don't like. I think as a business that is self-governing, the government does not tell you what to do. You know your customer base. You know what's hot in that industry. You've been doing it for a long time. You're doing multi-billions. If that is the notion of the most highly qualified individual in the organization, I don't think that social groups in Washington or journalists that say equal rights for all. I'm not against equal rights. This is business. And the point of business is to sell product. And when you sell product, you make profit. That's how everyone eats. So if this guy thinks that that's going to take away from that event, then I think he's the most qualified individual to speak on it. I have no problem with it.
I don't think I shouldn't be bullied to do something for my business because right now it's hot. I mean, I don't think that it's if I don't think transgenders are going to sell more underwear, hey, let's keep it real.
Is it a dick? Is it a pussy?
Victoria's Secret is
I don't know.
A lingerie company. So if I don't believe that I'm going to present my business in that manner, it ain't no shade on transgender. It's just that I can't sell product with that happening. That's just the way I think.
Yeah, I think even everybody who's heard this, I don't think that the issue was that it will be a conflict of interest for Victoria's Secret to them. I think that a lot of things get blew out of proportion when the media grabs it.
Yeah.
And so they probably put headlines on it like Victoria's Secret CEO is shaming people. And when you get into fighting with these social groups, bro,
you're fucked.
Yeah, yes. And I'm pretty sure even the women may understand, like, let's flip the script. And let me disclaim this, I have a tremendous amount of lesbian and gay people who work for the Red Zone. But if there was a gay pride event, you couldn't force somebody in that thing who was straight or who didn't represent what they were trying to promote. And it's the same ideology. If I'm producing a product and I'm marketing a product and I'm trying to target a certain demographic, there's certain people who I want to include in this, right? If I'm trying to sell clothes in urban areas, I'm not going to go get a suburban white kid.
You're not going to get butt life.
No, I'm going to sell some clothes for you, Mo.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it because I'm not trying to target them.
Of course.
I wouldn't try to sell diet drinks to people who are in super fit shape. I would try to sell them to people who are out of shape and who are trying to get in shape. So I don't think that was the narrative. I think when media gets a hold of stuff and you put a tagline on it, and then you may have board members, and then like people don't get the main issue, they get the static around it, and everybody's trying to jump out of the static. Like, yo, I ain't even trying to be in that space. It's a lot
media
easier.
pressure, and then they lose their job. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, they lose their job because the man at the top, maybe Wexner, says, I'm getting so much negative press that I can quantify in each area of the country is going to cost me X. This CEO matters, but the negative press won't stop. How do I stop it? I got to let the guillotine drop.
So the country feels like, oh, John's done something.
But the victim is,
yes.
I'm sorry, the victim is the CEO, and a lot of people could look at that in a certain way. But, guys, this is business. This is not governmental supportive people. So they know what's best for their business. That's how I look at it. But I got nothing against
of course.
listen, if you're transgender, I got nothing against you. It's business.
Yep. Next.
Division III basketball player is suspended from team and also barred from the campus after a vicious hit took place during the basketball game. Basically, if you haven't seen the video, the guy on the other team shoots a three-pointer. The guy comes running out well after the ball's like bounced off the rim and just lays the dude out.
I saw that. I saw
stretches
this.
his
Was
arm
it a
out,
punch?
Stretches
No,
like his arm
he-
out and like cross arm.
Clothesline.
Kind of clotheslines
but
him.
with the elbow, Johnny. It looked like John Jones ran at him and just took him out, clipped him off his feet. It was bad. I don't think there's any place for this. This wasn't like I'm trying to. This was a malicious thing. It was not on accident. I don't know what the hell they had going with each other, but it was bad. It makes Ron Artest shit look like a fucking kindergarten scuffle.
Was he defenseless?
He was defenseless.
He was defenseless. The kid was also expelled from the school though, which is
Okay.
an interesting twist on it.
So what I'm hearing, and correct me because I haven't seen it, is I'm hearing that depending on the damage of what happened to the guy that could be aggravated battery.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's more about. It's not about
It
not about a
almost
basketball
was
game.
like an assault, legitimately.
Yeah, it's not about a basketball game.
Let
So
Mo see it real quick.
So at the end of the day, if people want to look at it as a hard foul in basketball, what I'm hearing, what I just saw, that's why I stuttered a little bit, is that's potential aggravated battery. Aggravated battery could put you in prison. So this isn't about basketball. It's about committing a felonious crime. So he should be kicked off campus. He should not be able to play basketball because that is straight assault.
Nah, I call that's bitch shit. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. So whatever. I get in sports. You're having conversations. Y'all may be dogging each other. You may be frustrated. But what I just said on the thing is bitch shit. You know, and I think about a lot of penitentiary rules. And a lot of guys in prison, you don't get respect from stealing on people or swinging on defenseless people.
It's bad.
If you, the most honorable things you can do, if you feel like things are getting to a point, first of all, in sports, you shouldn't be taking cheap shots. I think that's just bullshit. But if it was that honorable where you felt like you had to do something, at least square up with a guy and say, hey, man, we have
Absolutely.
we have problems. But like at the end of the day, man, there's no place on the court for that shit. It's corny as fuck. It's some bitch
weak.
shit.
Man.
Right, bro? Like, I get why they kicked his ass out because
And they
at
should've.
the end of the day, you're a university. That's not how you want to be represented from a university standpoint. And I say this, I've got kicked out of a university. And at the end of the day, you have professional standards in every environment. And if you can't adhere to the standard, kick your ass out.
What I got to say to this, because now I'm watching it in its full context, is number one, I want this fucking guy's name because he belongs in prison. And number two, the victim of it, who literally got assaulted out of fucking nowhere. Where the fuck are his teammates? If I was on his fucking team, this motherfucker wouldn't leave the arena. His fucking teeth would be gone. His fucking head would be squashed like a goddamn tomato. This is bullshit.
It's
Teammates should not allow this. And this guy, whoever he is, I want his fucking name. He's a piece of shit. Put him behind bars. He's a fucking thug.
Yeah, I had some not quite to that malicious, but
That's fucking bullshit.
my dude went for a dunk and somebody literally took his feet out and then called him the N-word on top of it, and it was floor clearing. Like parents, players, like the game, it was literally like about a 20-minute lightweight riot. And we absolutely ran off the bench. It was melee. When you see something that's that malicious, that has no business, that was also in '97 super racially driven on top of it, it's like, dude, you don't even think twice. You don't even think twice. We would just fucking. We was out. It was like off
what Mo said. You know what? This dude who absolutely threw the biggest cheap shot I've ever fucking seen. Fucking say, hey, what's up, motherfucker? Yeah. Put your hands up and let it be fair.
That's a different story.
You know, let it be fair. If you put him down and you get suspended, whatever. But this dude was fucking not looking, and he got everything this other guy had. Put him on the ground. That could be career ending. When your head bounces on something hard, you don't know what's going to happen to his skull. You don't know what's going to happen to his brain. I hope this guy never plays basketball again.
I just tell like this, I just respect. I mean, I've been in prison and I've seen it and done an honorable way. I just respect the fact, and I think John said it before, making fist fights great again.
Agreed.
I respect the fact that when guys in prison have problems, I can say, hey, John, here's my cell. Corey, go watch for the CO. John, we have a confrontation. We think that it needs to escalate to the point we need to get physical with each other. They step behind us. They go into the cell. They fight it out. I'm talking about a motherfucker could have a black eye, bloody nose. You know what he would do? He would take himself. He would go to his cell. He would put a wet rag on his face, and when he would come out, person say, what happened? Nothing. You know, nothing. I failed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a thing between two people, but you understand that it's more honorable to
be that guy than to be this guy.
So first of all,
It's called being a man.
Let me be clear. I'd rather walk away. I'd rather not be in a physical confrontation. I'll disclaim that. But if it has to go there, I think prison has some honorable shit about it. Fuck, we gonna fight. We're not gonna cheap shot each other. If you get the best of me, oh well. If I get the best of you, oh well. It's not. I've never seen guys after they're done whooping somebody's ass not look at the other guy like, okay,
Like have a lack of respect.
Bro, yeah, it's not even fuck you. It's like, okay, we took it there. We thought it needed to go there. But you don't, like, that stuff is not respected. I'm telling you, that stuff right there is not respected on any level. I cheap shot at a motherfucker. Like
if that happened on the yard during basketball, what the guy that cheat, it'd be.
Brother, listen to me. You wouldn't even have the whole video done. It would have been, first of all, once one punch goes, all the guys who are with that guy goes. They say all the guys in your car. So if you all are from,
yeah,
I'm serious.
That's what it is.
Yeah, bro, that's corny shit.
Next.
Mike Gundy, the coach of Oklahoma State, blames the growing number of transfers on, quote, liberalism. He says, I think we just live in a world where people are non-committal. We allow liberalism to say, hey, I can just do what I want, and I don't really have to be tough enough to fight through it. John.
Fuck you, Mike Gundy, for making the connection between liberalism and not being tough. Your personal politics have nothing to do with sports. You are a coach in sports. And back to the fucking Lions coach conversation. These motherfuckers get these big jobs in sports, and they think they can spew off. What the fuck does he know about being a liberal? What does he know about being a conservative? What, just because he watches fucking Fox News, he's going to tell athletes how they should think. And if something is soft, it's liberal? Who the fuck are you? Who are you to label people? Who to put people in a bin and put people in an, oh, I'm the coach of, who's he the fucking coach of?
Washington State.
Oklahoma State.
Oh,
yeah,
Oklahoma State.
What are they ranked?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they probably fucking suck dick, okay? Because this dude's a fucking loser, and he's not a fucking leader, and as opposed to a bunch of conservatives supporting him like a bunch of lemmings, yeah, people should lash out and say, whether I'm a Republican, whether I'm a Democrat, liberal, conservative, this is sports. Stay the fuck out of the political game, you fucking dipshit.
What I don't like is the blanket statement of it, no matter what side you're on. At the end of the day, this dude's losing. So I think he's getting beat. The non-committal is, this is just my impression, is that he's not getting his recruits. Somebody's beating him. The other guys are beating him, and so he's throwing out some blanket statement that is like, oh,
to justify his failures.
Yes. There it is.
Yeah, so I would agree with both of y'all. I was going to ask something that may be a little bit, this is just my humility. I don't know what it is to be a liberal or conservative.
A liberal is somebody who views the world, and this is my understanding, in a more of a sympathetic way. Okay, so there's poverty in the inner city. We need to get them the food they need. We need them to get them housing. We need to spend money to open more schools. A conservative says no. They created that environment.
Okay, gotcha.
Sometimes they're animals. Let the animals live in the zoo, because when I go to this neighborhood, they're not animals.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that seems to be the most of the dividing nature of Democrat Republican.
So let me tell you, so for those to have so many broad views, I wouldn't identify with either, because life is to be looked at. I like looking at issues, and I wouldn't take a whole statement and put it on a whole group of people. I think that's irresponsible.
That's why him saying that on that platform, just like labeling it so wide, is stupid.
So people who have the understanding and knowledge of what those things are may be speaking to something different. Me, I don't have the understanding of what he's talking about, but
what he's doing is magnifying exactly why he's not getting the shit done that he needs to get done. So he's trying to use a scapegoat.
Blame
but
game.
in using a scapegoat, he's really exposing himself.
Yeah, blame game and then political. Next.
Nick Saban ain't talking about it.
Hell no.
All right. Mom who breastfed 9-year-old responds to critics saying, "I went public to raise awareness for mothers who breastfeed older children." 9 years old.
Okay, this is the problem.
John.
Man, you know.
I'm passing already.
dude,
John.
You know, it's like this is the problem. This is the problem with the internet. This is the problem with our society is like this gets Yahoo headlines. This gets it's clickbait, okay?
Yeah.
A mom did not go public for that reason. This mom, I don't know her, but she is clearly an attention craving woman. And it is sad that she needs to go to those measures with her 9-year-old child. Do you know what that 9-year-old child
bad.
is going to go through in school?
Oh.
Do you know how bad that 9-year-old child
Oh.
is going to be made fun of? It could ruin that 9-year-old child's fucking early stage of life because the mother wants to be internet famous because we've created this click culture of, oh my God, this is so out there. There's no one else like it. So maybe I'll get 2 million clicks and then people know my name like the Octomom. Maybe I can get a reality show. Bitch, you're a hoe and you're fucking pimping out your kid.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Next time, close those legs when a dude's about to slip it in you because you're a fucking hoe.
I think that's sad, that this right here displays where there's a lot of problems that at the expense of your child, you're going to hit the internet because you're still breastfeeding it. It's like,
Dude.
it's really sad. And yeah, the ridicule that this kid's going to go through is going to be something that he will never get past, and he will probably hate you when he's older, and he might need to.
I'm passing.
Yeah,
I'm choosing to pass. Shit.
All right.
Terrible.
Next.
Man, what?
Man.
Absolutely absurd.
This is where we at in America.
Right.
It's truth.
Fucking
It's fucked
sad,
up.
dude.
I love the internet.
I know.
Fox News, Tucker Carlson stuns himself by agreeing with Democrat Alexandria Cortez. Carlson said it was hard to argue with the progressive newcomer's criticism of e-commerce giant Amazon, which has received $2 billion in tax incentives in exchange for locating its 2 new headquarters in Long Island and Arlington, Virginia.
So what I would say is I think that's an easy way for a guy like Tucker Carlson, who is very, very, very far right. He's been wearing a bow tie since he's been about 12 years old. But he's so far right that when you bring business into something, and a Democrat actually has a more pro-Republican, pro-conservative opinion, because they are, what do Republicans love? Tax cuts, right? They love tax cuts for the wealthy, and they love tax cuts for business. Well, what in effect is Amazon getting? Like you said, they're getting tax cuts, big ones, like $2 billion, right, in New York.
$2 billion, and she's criticizing the fact that they're getting $2 billion in tax cuts.
Oh, she's criticizing.
He said it was hard to argue with the progressive newcomer's criticism of their $2 billion tax incentives.
Oh, so Tucker
was leaning towards in favor of the they should have to pay more taxes. They might.
That's not his normal views, though, John?
That surprises me because
Yeah.
Again, we need a little more clarification in these questions about life. I didn't hear it that way. That's actually surprising. But at the end of the day, listen, you're the big dog. Okay, so I'm gonna go to business and I'm gonna disagree with both of them because it's like when you're Amazon, every city is courting you. I will roll out the red carpet. When Amazon sets up a headquarters in a city, do you know how much it's not about the jobs. It's about the restaurants around the jobs that have fucking full tables. It's about the hotels for all the people.
Hey, I got more members at Old School Gym because of Amazon across the street,
and
bro.
that ain't a headquarters.
Yeah,
and
no.
that ain't a headquarters. It's
Oh.
a fulfillment
distribution,
facility.
The housing market.
Yeah.
Everything. So if I'm Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world for a reason, I'm going to come in and say, all you guys want me, start bidding.
Yep.
So I don't I don't.
That's capitalism.
I don't have a problem with it, man.
But let's say this: $2 billion is really chump change to him. So a lot of people like when me and you look at $2 billion, we like, man, that's a massive amount of money.
There's sides to everything.
To the amount of revenue that they generate, and that $2 billion is probably over 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
But $2 billion is not massive. When I think about it, not because of my personal thing, it's because I understand what Amazon yields.
Yeah.
So they can have a headquarters in New York and that place of business for the area that it comes into can be a $20 billion a year revenue driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think about let me specify more. The people who made the comments may look at it like, man, Corey's getting $2 billion, but they just made out.
It's all relative.
There's no
though.
context.
There's
They
no
don't have
context.
context. So you know what? The Tucker Carlson and the other woman, I'm going to remove them from what I have to say about it because I misunderstood that.
One thing I want to say about Tucker Carlson, I don't watch him, but I kind of know what he's about. And
Living that bow tie life.
Yeah, but I saw a thing on the internet. I love the internet, and
I do too.
Yeah, I love the internet.
Yeah.
And there were some people lashing out at some of his family when he was just out to eat, right? And so I know this guy has, depending on what side of this.
Wasn't that Ted Cruz?
No, this was Tucker. This was Tucker. It just happened a couple days ago. It was on.
Really?
Somebody called his daughter a slut, whore, like it was bad,
I
right?
thought that was Ted.
Maybe it happened to Ted too.
Okay, gotcha.
But either way,
Okay.
either one, just in theory, like because somebody's views are like that. I guess my overarching point is it doesn't matter really who it is, but no matter. This is part of the divide that we got going on right now. It's
You're
like,
right.
It's like if my daughter goes to the bathroom who's 15 years old or younger and we don't have the same political views, she's not a whore. Like you can't just, it doesn't matter how angry you are, what side you're on, like that is not inhumane and that's a fucking problem. It was to me that that's what it is though right now.
No. And if you even think about, and this isn't Jeremy's fault, but if you even think about how the question was framed up, it was framed up as a uber conservative agrees.
Yeah.
No. It's about
We're
Amazon.
people.
It's about Amazon getting tax cuts.
Yes.
Right. That's the meat. Right. But we frame it as a conservative and a liberal agree. Come on, man. It's about Amazon getting tax cuts. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. That just spawned my memory of
as you all talk, man, I think one of the worst things in America that happened, to my understanding, is to even be labeled as a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
I think that's done more because it makes you subscribe to a whole way of thinking that you may not necessarily agree with. And I can't sit here after living in the hood, living in the suburbs, being around wealthy white people, black people, everything. People have like all types of views on all types of shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that if it just wasn't so Bloods and Crips, Democrat against Republicans, and you holding
That's
on to
what
these
it
like,
is, too.
I'm serious, bro.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I think that like, I'm a Democrat, so I have to think like this. Like, really, you don't even feel that way. I'm a Republican. I have to think about this.
I've always felt like that because I was raised essentially in a Democratic kind of mindset, but I have way more like Republican type views because of business. I've never felt like I fit in an exact party either.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
what happens when you take both of those labels off and just say, hey, I feel
This is the way I
way
feel.
about this issue?
Yeah.
But here's the deal, right? So the stuff that they argue about is the stuff that doesn't matter, right? You always are going to hear about the border. You're always going to hear about abortion, right? So we're the suckers, and this is a measured game. They're both the same, right? You rip the title off. They're both corporatists. They're corporatists. Both of them operate, and they bow down to one thing: corporate money. That's what drives. They
much.
do not
Yeah.
work
Yes.
for us.
Doesn't matter what side you're
They
on.
are not public servants. Democrats, Republicans, they are corporate servants. That's how it goes. So what they do is they literally, and this is measured, they figure out how to divide. Okay, black people are going to go in this direction because they think old white men are Republican. So we're going to play on their brain. They're going to fuck with your head.
True.
Okay, poor white people. Okay, Italian-American people. They go
Bring
to the
Cole back.
Right. But what they really are about ain't got nothing to do with any of us. They just pawn the fuck out of us to get their votes.
Yes.
And then they cater to the real bosses, the corporatists. So to me, Republican, Democrat, they're the same motherfuckers. They just play the fuck out of us if we let them.
But I think the thing that bothers me is the residual effect that it has on day-to-day life. You know,
Because it's social.
Yeah, because it's social, and that part bothers me. And I guess that's being a human fucking being. Like, I guess I'm like, in a perfect world, I just would like more people to just be free in their thinking with how they feel, not what they're influenced by. Be more rooted in an factual opinion and experience. Like just to give people an example, I can never say like I hate something blanketly without having an adverse experience. You know what I'm saying?
So one of the indicators to me that shit was just done fucked was when Palin was running along with McCain, and you heard this sentiment of people talking, and Palin was one of the just dumbest candidates we've ever seen for VP. People started saying, "I like her. I want her in the White House because she's just like me." And I stopped. I said, because she's just like me. I don't want anyone in the White House who's just like me. I want them to be way more educated on fucking foreign policy.
Yeah.
I want them to be political figures who have accomplished. I don't want them to be like me. And these were soccer moms. These were people who said, I want her in there because she's like me. Bitch, you ain't qualified. You're not qualified. And you want her in there because she's like you. The fuck is wrong with you? She's pushing the button on those nuclear codes.
Yes.
And she says she can see Russia from her backyard. Are you kidding me?
That's a cartoon.
Yes.
I love it. All right, next.
Ooh, Sarah Palin will go out and shoot some deer. Yeah. Fucking dumbass.
That is
I forgot all about her, man.
She's a dumbass, bro.
That was amazing.
Like the dumbest of dumbasses.
I'm going to Google her.
The Cleveland Browns fire coach Hugh Jackson, who is now entertaining a position with the Cincinnati Bengals. Corey.
All right. First off, Hugh Jackson to me was underwhelming for the amount of time that he was there. Every player I know that played with Hugh is only a couple guys. They weren't impressed. I don't know why the Browns kept him this long. His demeanor doesn't impress me. What was going on doesn't impress me. I don't know why the fuck Marvin Lewis fucking hooked his boy up and brought him. Now he did take a actual position with the Bengals. The motherfucker loses, and it didn't seem like there's no locker room. I'm underwhelmed by Hugh Jackson. I don't fucking get it.
You know, that's where he left, though.
Is that where he came
That's
from?
where he came from, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it at all.
I would just say not a lot of people are interested in the Browns. I'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facing scrutiny, Facebook reportedly hires a PR firm that wrote negative articles about Apple and Google.
Well, what a fucking shocker. If I'm fucking Facebook, who the fuck is my mortal enemy? It's Google, right?
Yeah.
Apple is coming in. They're all going down the same fucking road. Fucking content, cloud software, advertising control. Here's the battle right now, right? Facebook owns mobile advertising. Google owns desktop advertising. Google has been around longer. Google's trying to penetrate that damn phone because I believe it represents 70% of searches now. So Facebook is really starting to rip that ad revenue, and Google's fighting them tooth and nail. And Google is a company full of brilliant people. My cousin's one of them. But they're always battling like fucking two different armies because they are the top dogs. So should we ever expect Google and Facebook to get along, or for Apple to... Bro, these guys want to sit on the throne. They are battling for the biggest throne in the world, the throne of technology in Silicon Valley. Should anybody think that they're going to get along?
No, competition, man. They're going to write bad articles so they can get SEO, which they control, by the way, pretty much. So, I mean, of course, they're going to play. That's not even dirty. That's probably not even like a 16th of what's really going on.
Oh,
if that's
exactly.
Right, Johnny? I mean, at the end of the day,
Dude.
we expect these guys like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, fucking Wendy's. Of course. But 70%, I bet they're nervous, though. 70%, I bet they're nervous, and it's only increasing.
Yep.
I would be if I was them.
This is becoming, I'm holding a phone right now, this is becoming a computer. It's making laptops obsolete, and as it continues to go into new generations, it's going to do everything that is digital. That is a threat to Google. Google has Android, but let's face it, Android is not iOS.
No.
Brother, laptops now are obsolete.
You have to take your laptop less and less, in my opinion.
Bro, you
right?
can do everything.
Mo, you love the internet, but here's a question. Do you love your iPhone?
Do I love my iPhone? Yes.
Okay.
It does everything for me.
There we
There it
We
is.
had to-
Next.
okay.
I had a MacBook. I don't touch it.
Yeah.
He loves his iPhone.
Love the internet.
Georgia legislator arrested at work says she was singled out as a black female senator
Arrested
For what?
being part of a protest.
Oh, okay. So she was arrested as a protester.
Okay.
There are countless Georgians who cast their ballots and still don't feel like their voices are heard. She said in a statement after being released, I joined them down on the floor and I was singled out as a black female senator standing in the rotunda with my constituents.
Gotcha. So, I mean, what I would say is, if you're going to protest, and this goes back to Dr. King and the civil rights movement, getting arrested was a statement. It was a statement that, like, we will not be intimidated. We will deal with any cost. A lot of these people, death, but obviously I'm not talking about death here. But I think it's par for the course if you're going to take it into the rotunda and you want to make a statement that is meaningful to you. Peaceful protest, I think, is the best way to get your point across. And if she got arrested, that was probably part of her media strategy, right? Because we're talking about it right now. So if she didn't get arrested, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. So I'm sure it was a measured movement.
I'm like this. You're saying that you got arrested. That, like John said, you wouldn't even be talking about it if you didn't get arrested. And you know what time it is when you protest. That's a possibility. And did they single you out? Yes, they singled you out because you're some person that they recognize. So of course they singled you out. That, I think that's what you wanted to happen. I don't know why you're complaining. I think you got across what you was trying to do. Doesn't matter if you're black or purple.
And this is what devalues anything when somebody speaks up for something black, right?
Right.
So it's like me going to a protest in Columbus, Ohio as Maurice Claret, and me being in a rotunda somewhere. Of course they're going to arrest Maurice Claret because you're somebody in this space that is notable. And just as you want to get your jollies off by being here, I want to get my jollies
The
off
other
by
side does too.
arresting
Arresting you.
And we have to be smart and have to know that this is part of it. But then this whole sympathy, feel for me, I'm black card, this is what devalues stuff when we talk about actual things with race. And so I don't know the lady. I don't want to come off like being brutal to her, but when I heard this is what devalues so much other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the protesting part, but what I don't get is they say, oh, I'm getting arrested. You're arresting me because of Maurice Claret. Of course, motherfucker.
That's
Your
what time it
stupid ass
is.
out
That's
here.
what I'm
You know
saying.
But
But Mo, why? Yeah, I mean, so the first thing that struck me is that she said she was being singled out because she was black. Like,
there were more black people there, I promise you that.
yeah, like, does she really need to go there? Like,
So that's what
devalues
but that's
it.
That's what I'm talking about. So it devalues. It makes people tone deaf to actual racist situations.
Right.
So if something comes and it's actual, and so I always say this, right? And I want to say this for the listeners, right? It makes everything that people talk about when black, Hispanic, because I don't want to act like racism is just a black thing, right? Black, Hispanic, anything, anybody that's basically being, or even if you're a foreigner and you happen to be from Italy and you speak just a different language, and somebody say, hey, you're not fucking Americans, or fuck you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that happens when people call you a foreigner, right? All of the strategic, measured manufacturing of stuff that's not that serious, it devalues the actual real situations, right? Like I seen the other day in the car, there was a gentleman, he was talking to a Hispanic lady, and it was all over the internet. You know, he was like, fuck you, and he was saying disrespectful terms to the lady because she is Hispanic. And like, you know, go do something that, you know, Hispanics normally do for a job. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like disrespecting her. Like, that's valid. That's real. You know what I'm saying? The I'm going down to the
right.
to the rotunda to protest with everybody and disrupt something. If you come and disrupt my shit and it's a motherfucker who's notable and I'm there, get that motherfucker out of here, you stupid ass. You don't want helping to corral all this shit. So let's not be stupid. I don't want to say retarded because that's a disrespectful term, but let's not be stupid and act like let's not be stupid.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just interesting because beyond that, what you're going to see now is her do the rounds on the cable stations and said, I was arrested for my ideals. you did that to get arrested
Yeah.
so you can make the rounds on me. It's a PR strategy, and that's why thinking a level deeper is what I guess I'm trying to share with the listener is like when these people stand up and say, I was arrested for my beliefs. Hey, you didn't walk down over the bridge in Selma, dude, so chill the fuck out. This is fucking measured shit so you can get on to CNN, so shut up.
Next.
So
Oh, that's it. All right, guys. Good job on the rapid fire. We've had a lot of good feedback, so if you guys have any other feedback, please send it to @BizandBiceps on Instagram. And John Fosco,
Corey Gregory.
you didn't seem as fired up on some of those today, John. I don't know.
Well, it's all about the question.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
all about the
it's all
question.
about the
Maurice
question.
Claret.
Yes.
One R, 2 T's. John Fosco.
Yeah.
I forgot it last time, but not this time.
Oh.
Can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast
can't be stopped.